Policy Mike has a great article with some facts about college that'll blow your socks off, particularly if you live in America, because a lot of this stuff people in the U.S. just don't know. They just don't know how much they're getting screwed over by the way the system functions. They say, quote, "The average cost of attending in-state public college in the United States for the 2013-2014 academic year is $22,826. The typical cost of private colleges, $44,750. So therefore, the average cost of college tuition in the U.S. at a four-year institution, $29,408. Now, while U.S. college students face tuition rates that far outpace inflation and more than $1.2 trillion of student debt, the cost of college in 9 other countries is nothing. It's free. Amazing, right? In fact, I'll give you the places right now. Students in Germany, Finland, France, Sweden, Norway, Slovenia, Brazil, Luxembourg, and Iceland are receiving a quality education for free. Now, we have that in the U.S. up through high school. But then once you're done with high school, they say, okay, fuck off. If you go to a public institution, you're still going to have to pay a lot of money out of pocket. But if you go to a private institution, you'll have to pay even more out of pocket. So either way, by the time you get to college, you're fuckington. It's not what it's like in these countries. These countries, it's the same as it was in elementary school for when you go to college. If you choose to go to college, it's fully funded by the state, by the tax dollars. Now, what are we doing with our tax dollars here in America? Well, we just went through it in the last story. Our tax dollars go towards useless pork barrel projects like the Shrimp Museum in Louisiana. Thanks for spending our tax dollars in such a smart way. It goes to the military-industrial complex so we can maintain our 900 military bases around the world and the war on terrorism, which is creating more terrorists. It goes to corporate welfare for Wall Street and the big banks. The big banks get $80 billion a year in subsidies. Walmart gets a giant welfare check every single year. ExxonMobil gets a giant welfare check. So this is what our money, our tax dollars are going towards. Stuff that's not for us. But in those countries, when you pay taxes, you actually get something for it. You get education. You get health care. Here we pay our taxes, and then the government puts their middle finger up to us, and they say, well, we don't care. You still need to pay for your own health care. You still need to pay for your own education, even though we just taxed you and we're not going to use this money on anything that should be going back to you. And by the way, this is a key difference between conservatives and liberals. Conservatives look at the government like it's a mafia. They say, okay, here, take your cut, take your 10% and go the fuck away. Okay, here, just take the money and leave me alone. Liberals demand accountability from our government. So we say, if I'm paying you 10% of my paycheck, you son of a bitch, you better give me something in return. If I'm giving you 10%, you better give me a government-funded health clinic where I don't have to pay a dime when I go in. You better give me education. What is this, some kind of sick joke? You're going to take my money and not do anything? What the fuck kind of system you think this is? That doesn't make any sense. Now, listen to this. College costs in the U.S. have risen by more than 1,122% since 1978. 1,122% since 1978. So it wasn't that long ago we had a somewhat similar system to the systems we just discussed in the places where it's free. But then our government slowly but surely decided to screw us and decided to make it a more for-profit industry, decided to make it more scammy. And isn't it funny how the year that college costs started to balloon out of control is the same year that the Supreme Court decided that money equals free speech and you can give a tremendous amount in donations to politicians?